Well, right now we're going to take a trip into the countryside with our friends at Hunkydory and our friend Heidi. We have all of these. We've got a little book of In the Countryside. We have some Mary cardstock. We have the 4 topper sets. And this is just an example of what Heidi has done. So we'll get in a little bit closer. Now this is a different card. It is an inside easel. So we're going to flip that up, and it's going to rest right there. And you've got all sorts of sweet little lambs all through this project. This is just one of them in this webisode. Won't you please come play with us? Before we get into Heidi's projects, let me just give you a little more information. So there are 4 of these toppers. This is a woodland walk. There is On the Farm. Now these 2 Heidi did not use, but these 2 she did. All of them have the same type of information or type of product. So you're going to get 1 sheet of foil die-cut toppers. This happens to be in amongst the flowers, and they're going to just pop right out. So you can see, and there are multiple, like this has got 3, that's got 3. So there's quite a few on every sheet. And then you're going to get a printed cardstock, and you're going to get a foiled cardstock that's going to match. So in this case, we've got some little chicks and we have a bird. There's the bird, there are the chicks, and you can see that from every package, you're going to be able to make at least 2 cards, maybe more. So this is Amongst the Flowers. Here is Grassy Meadows that she has also used with that little lamb that I showed you in the beginning. So there we go, and you can see full information, of course, on the website. Then also, as I said, we have Mary. Now the Mary cardstock, there are 16 sheets. There's 2 each of 8 colors. There are 2 different golds inside. There's a pink and a blue and kind of a blueberry. We also have a copper and a lime green, as well as, like I said, there's 2 shades of the green. And then there's also, 2 shades of the gold, and then there's also the green. So all of that is working together, and you're going to get 2 of each sheets, and I love the Mary, it just adds so much. Now, the little book of In the Countryside, there are 120 sheets. They are single-sided. It will feature 20 different designs, and let me just show you some of them. So there's that little lamb. And you're going to see vertical as well as horizontal image. So we've got a cow, we have the geese with some donkeys, and then just donkeys by themselves. We have those bluebirds. I think it's a blue tit, but I'm not sure. And we have another one, so you've got options. There's the little chicks. There's some pigs having a good time. Then also, as I said, we have horizontal ones. So the geese, the lamb, the pigs, the chicks, the little calves all together. And then you have these smaller images that you can cut out. Now you're going to get 6 of each one, so you're going to have plenty of things. Now in addition, there are a few that I haven't shown you, but you'll see it as we move through the webisode. So that works out nicely too. So 120 sheets inside there is just going to really go well. So let me get these put back together and we'll get started on our webisode. Well, as I showed you in the opening, this card has 3 different elements, actually 4 when I think about it. But let me just start with the front of the card. So this is our 5 by 6.5 inch card. And Heidi started with the mirror cardstock. So she cut the gold to be smaller than her card front, and then she matted on the green Mary, and that became the base for her card front. Then she went into the topper collection, and she chose this sheet, and it has the foiling on the top, but what she did is she turned it like this. So that little lamb is on his head, and she's really focusing on this area. Now, I'm not going to give you a ton of measurements because there are instructions in the cards. They all are down below, so just click on it. And so you can see that she cut this smaller, but just cut in that corner treatment, and that's going to be on the front of her card. So that takes care of that part. And then as she goes into the die cuts part of this, there is a square little lamb, but there's also a rectangle. So she took the frame. Can you see that there is, you can almost see the lines, that there's a frame and then the little lamb. Well, the frame got glued. It's about a ½ an inch from the edge of the adorable scoreable that's right there. And then she foam taped the lamb about a ½ an inch away from the frame. So she's got this stair step going on. The congratulations is right here, and that was foam tape going up and down. And that just made a really interesting arrangement for her card front. Now she does use, as you know, probably if you've watched these, she loves the bow maker from Hunkydory, and it has been a staple from us. So she uses that to make all the bows in all of her projects forever and ever, and this is no exception. So she used the gingham collection of ribbons and then zodded that bow right there. Now we're going to go to the inside, and we'll go ahead and take care of this acetate. Now what Heidi uses, and she's made a convert out of me, because she likes to use the heat-resistant acetate. It is a thicker acetate. We do sell sheets individually. They are a thinner type of acetate, but you can choose whatever you want. And what she did is to cut a piece that is 6½ inches, which is the width of her card, but 5½ inches long. Okay, so 6½ by 5½. And then she put it on the scoreboard, and actually I did when I was making this sample, put it on the scoreboard like so, and scored down the 5-inch area. So remember, this is 5½ inches wide, so that she had a lip, okay? So just did that, and then that lip is going to have extra sticky tape placed on it, and it's going to be folded back like so on the score line. So just when it's flat, put the tape on it, and then you're going to attach it to the inside of the card. Now again, this is the acetate, okay? So then when we're ready, when that's all been taken care of, we can take the other part of that sheet. So remember, we use this, but we have all of this greenery, and we have this darling little lamb. Well, that little lamb is going to cover the bottom of our card, and you can see. So you're just going to put your adhesive all the way on all 4 borders, then place this so that it is equal to 2 sides, and then fold your card back and trim it even with your card. And that way you don't have to do the measuring. But if you wanted to, it's 6½ by 5, or just slightly less than 5 inches. Now, so that takes care of that part, but up here, we have the acetate attached, but we want to cover that up. So we're going to go back to our green Mary, and we're going to use that to cover up that little flap and the whole of the inside. But we still have a little bit that we can use from this sheet, because we've only used the 2 corners. So we've got the middle part, and you can see that she has cut a piece to go right across there, and she has foam taped the square little lamb just right in the middle. Now the frame, he actually has 2 frames, or she has 2 frames, and one of those is used down here. It's the one that has the little fleur-de-lis in the corners, and that just is framing that sweet little lamb. And you can see that they are opposite, and they're kind of looking in slightly different directions too, which is nice. Now, this is the border that is right here, and that's foam taped. And then a little bow has been made again and zodded. But what about the acetate? Well, look what this is doing. And this is using the larger frame on our square little lamb. And look how nicely it is covering that little piece. And this is one of the cutouts or die cuts on the piece. Today is all about you. And I love how it's overlapping the lamb and the frame and just fitting nicely. Another little gingham bow right there. And because this is foam taped in place, it's going to be a resting place for our acetate so that we have the inside easel. I think that Heidi did this style earlier, And I wasn't sure what to call it, but one of you very nicely gave me the answer, and so that's what we have named this. So there you go, very fun and pretty easy to do too, which is really nice. I appreciate that. Okay, so that was our first card and our first of the topper collection. Now let's go to our second one. And this is a easel twist. So here we have our 5-inch square card. We've got our fold on the right-hand side. So we just take our regular larger cards and cut them down to be 5 inches square. Turn the fold onto the left and then place this on the scoreboard and score from the bottom left to the upper right, just like that. And then after we decorate it and place some foam taped pieces on the inside, it's going to look like that. Okay, so before we get there, we've already taken care of our 5-inch scored card, but then we're going to be using this second topper set that I showed you. This is Amongst the Flowers, and obviously we're using the little bird. So what she did, okay, so these are the two adorable scoreable. This is printed and this is foiled, as I showed you in the beginning. We're going to take the blue area, and this card, as I said, it's 5 by 5. We're going to take the this and we're going to cut this to be 4.5 inches square. Then we're just going to cut it on the diagonal. Okay, that's going to be the blue pieces. Then we're going to take the gold Mary, and we're going to cut a square that is 4 3/4, so slightly bigger. 4 3/4, 4.5, and cut them diagonally. Then glue the two together, and then glue them to the front of your card, like so. You don't want them going over the score line because you don't want them to buckle, and that's going to be nice. Then we're just going to focus on the right-hand side of the card, and in that area, we're going to take. Okay, so we've got this. Now this has got three. We've got the oval with the bird, we've got a gold frame, and we've got a decorative frame. So what Heidi did is she took the decorative frame, that oval, and turned it this way, turned it at an angle, and just attached the bottom part of it to the bottom part of our card. Then she foam taped the little bird pretty much straight on the card, but again, leaving this area unattached. And then she used 2 layers of foam tape to attach the little oval, the birthday wishes, and use the bow maker with the 1/8 inch ribbon collection. This is what that looks like. It's a lot of colors, and they all have 36 inches of ribbon in them. And then zotted that in place. So that takes care of our card front. Now let's look at the card inside. We do have to remember that we need something to hold that easel up. So let me go here. Now, as I said, you use that blue area of the adorable scoreable. Well, now we're going to use the birds. And she simply has trimmed this down to be smaller than our 5-inch card. But first she covered the inside, and let me just see if I can, yeah, there you go, you can see it. She covered it with the gold Mary. And then she trimmed this piece down, attached it, and then these are more of the die cuts from the piece. They are foam taped and then double foam taped. Another bow has been zotted in place, and they're going over the hydrangeas, so our little birdies are showing. And then this is how it's going to look when it's sitting at your recipient's desk or kitchen table or wherever, remembering you. Now, where can you write your message? Well, I think a great place would be right here, because that way they can see it, but it's not going to interfere with the artwork, which is just great. Okay, so that's our second card. Now, those two are using the toppers. There are 2 other toppers, as I showed you in the beginning, that she did not use, but all of them are available, and they're available separately. Okay, we're going to go now to this card, and we're going to go into that little book, such a very popular type of product by our customers. And I think there's just so much you can do with them. Plus you're getting 6 copies of each piece of art. Now you can cut them apart, you can layer them. In this case, Heidi did a much simpler version than that. So let me show you. She has used the tent cards. This is Hunkydory product. They say 7 by 5, but they're 5 by 7, okay? And she has used one of them. There are envelopes in here too. And she has taken, these are the two images she's going to use. One has a frame and one is just the bunny. So she's taken the frame and she has matted it twice. Once on the gold Mary, it's in the package of Mary, and then a second time onto the gold glitter cardstock. So we've got the two golds. In fact, let me just place them there for you so you can see. Just makes a really, really nice look. And I have to turn them, I guess, because actually she did it this way. Okay, that takes care of that visual. Then this is going to go on top, or the top, because it's been double matted, and it's going to fit right inside the card very, very nicely. Now, this card also, she took another copy of this and just trimmed out next to that white border and foam taped that on top. So you can see that it gives dimension to this little project. She then placed the gold border dazzles along about an inch from the bottom of the card and zotted this bow. It's been out of the yellow ribbon set, just right on top. The Sending Smiles is from our Sending Smiles collection. Now this has black, white, gold, and silver, so obviously she used the black there. And I like how she's got it just starting right at the edge of the artwork, and then she's added that little flower, which is also in the collection. Now she's got a little easel here. Let me show you how to make that. It is a piece of white cardstock that's 5 by 3 inches. Okay, then she placed it on the scoreboard. You can use any scoreboard you have. Now this is 5 by 3, but I'm going to turn it because I need to score it at 1 inch and score it at 2 inches. And then I'm going to do an accordion fold. And we know that an accordion fold is a valley and a mountain fold, just like this. So, whoops, and you can pop it along, just like that. So these are all 1 inches. Then you're going to take the extra sticky tape and place it on this piece and going to tuck that underneath your card. I beg your pardon. Well, you can do it either way. You can tuck this underneath your card and then change the how this is going to go. You can do it the other way. Okay, so as long as it's accordion, so you can attach it like that. You could cover this up, but if it's white cardstock against white cardstock, it's really going to be just fine. The other thing that you could do is to put the extra sticky tape here and attach it to the front of the card. The only problem with that is that you are going to see a bit of an edge. So that's why I recommend first, when I started, to really put it on that flap and attach it to the inside of the card. I just think it gives a smoother appearance, and that's just fine. You can see that this is a 1 inch by 5 inch piece of the gold glitter cardstock, and that's just resting in the front of our card. It's just a little extra addition. Now for the inside of our card, we're going to do a similar scenario. So we're going to take our big guy and we're going to mat him on, same thing, on the gold Mary and then on the gold glitter. I'm going to place him inside our card. Same thing, we're going to take the gold border dazzles and just place it about 1 inch from the end. We're going to zot a little yellow bow. And then I'm not sure if you can see it, but we may have to get in closer. There's a little hello there. And that hello came from the Tiny Words and Phrases. This has 310 pieces. There is black, white, gold, silver, and brown in this collection. But this, she's using that little gold hello on our little bunny. So that just takes care of that. So we're sending smiles. And we've got gold all through this little guy. And this is a handy little piece to remember, just like the acetate was. So highly recommend that. Okay, now we're going to also stay with our little book of In the Countryside. We're going to do this card. And you can probably tell that this is using some deer. It's going to use this big piece, and then on the inside, this little guy. So again, a vertical and a horizontal, which is handy. Now in this place, Heidi wanted to really accent all the greenery and the outdoors. After all, this is about the countryside. So she went to her collection of At the Lake. So At the Lake 12 by 12 pattern and At the Lake 12 by 12 solid. And she chose one of the landscape images, and let's see. Yeah, I think you can see, if we can get in super close, you can see the little thumbnails of all of these. And so there's lots to choose from. A lake. Well, actually, they're all going to have a lake, aren't they? But you can see the greenery, the trees. And so you can choose what you'd like, as Heidi has done. And she matted it on a green solid and glued it to the front of her 5 by 6.5 inch card. And then she took her little deer and she trimmed it down. As you can see, this just goes, just the body of the deer, okay? And just right here, again, the measurements are in the instructions. And this has been matted onto the brown, it's kind of a brown copper Mary. And I like the way that she put this in place. Now you want to make sure that you leave this area, maybe not glued down right now, but all 3 of the other sides. And it kind of goes right next to the edge of the first paper. This is, these 2 are cutouts from that At the Lake collection. So I think it was fun that she tucked this one underneath, and that looks nice. And then this is foam taped on top. She took the jute ribbon, and there are, as I reach for my jute, there you get 72 inches of a whole bunch of different colors. So she selected the green ones and just tied a little shoestring bow and knotted it in place. Now the dazzles, can you see them in the corners? I like this treatment. It's very simple and very, very catching. So a large dazzle and 2 small ones. Let's see, there you go, you can see that. And then one on our little tag right there. So that's the copper to go along with the Mary, that's kind of the brown copper. Now we're going to go inside our card. And she's done similar things where she has taken the At the Lake pattern, matted it on the solid, glued it into her card. And then she's taken that other little deer, this little guy, and again, she has just cut him out. You can see that he's just to the edge of him, and matted it onto, this case is where she is using the green Mary. You can really see that flashing right now. Same idea, just glue down these 3 sides, but leaving this one, it's a cutout from the At the Lake pattern. You can tuck that underneath and then glue this down. Another knotted jute bow. And this time she has used the lime green dazzles. You can see one escaped, and just had a big one and 2 little ones on the opposite corners. Just works really, really nice. Let that flash at you. Okay, that is our last card. So as you can see, we got a lot out of all of these. So In the Countryside, little book of, that does a lot of good. We have our Mary collection with 16 colors. You have seen every single one of them. And then we have the 4 topper collections. So let me remind you, a woodland walk, which has bunnies and deer. The On the Farm, which has the pigs and the donkey, just really cute. And then also the 2 that we use. So we have, as Paulette is quickly trying to put this together over here, just kind of entertain yourself for a second. Okay, this is Amongst the Flowers. And then we also have the last one, which is Grassy Meadows. So all of those are making this very fun collection, very nice with in the countryside. I want to thank Heidi for doing such a very creative job. I love all of her fun ways of doing her cards. I want to thank you for joining us. If you happen to be watching us on YouTube, please know that these products are all available at Paper Wishes. You can head on over. There is a money saver. So if you are interested in getting all of these, we're going to give you a little bit of a deal. The deal's on the right-hand side of the screen. And you can just click there, take advantage of that. You can also take advantage of the instructions that are down below and make use of those as you would like. So again, I want to thank you and especially thank you for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you again probably tomorrow.